knowledge of self after our 500 to 6,000 year Holocaust, where we have lost over 600 million.
Oh, yeah. All right. We're going to do it here. Fuck that live shit. I keep getting cut off. So we're going to do the whole thing here. What's going on? And what I'm teaching is today is you are basically food. And you need to understand what it is you're doing down here and what it is you are. All right, so let's start from the beginning. We can start here now. Your chickens, your cows, do not know that they are food. They have no idea. Their only existence, let's say a chicken or a cow, is to feed you. They have no other use. It's not like you see chickens running around in the forest on the Serengeti, a bunch of wild chickens. They're dumbed down turkeys made for one and one purpose, to eat humans, to be hot wings. But the chicken doesn't know that. It thinks its whole existence is whatever the fuck a chicken thinks its purpose, eat shit off the floor, fuck other chickens. There's no idea that ultimately it's born for the sole purpose for us. So our ego doesn't usually allow us to think of ourselves in such a demeaning way. But the reality is, to get straight to it, you are a food source. You are a food source. You're not eating physically. Your energy is fed off of constantly. The human body is nothing but a tool to trap an energy in to start creating things. Those things are called, we'll say, elixirs, but chemicals that the body makes, chemicals that the organs make, based upon either love or fear. It's clear it must be more of a delicacy to have these fear-based emotions and fear-based elixirs and chemicals created in the human body for these archons to feed off of. So just like we eat chickens, they feed or eat off of the emotions that they help to inspire. Earth is a feeding ground. This matrix is a feeding ground. You are being fed off of based upon your energy. So let's think about something logical. I started doing this in the live, but let's just get it all under one sitting. If we're doing something as simple as this, moving our hand, this takes energy. This takes energy. What gets stronger if we visualize? If I see a ball here that I'm holding and moving, and then that ball could represent anger or happiness. So let's say happiness. I have a big ball of happiness and I swallow it. Why do they tell you to do meditations like that? Many like that, with deep visualizations. Because the ancients understood with your thoughts and your movements, you're actually dealing with energy. In this case, I just took what I deem to be happiness, my visualization, my energy that I see happiness, and I consumed it. Or I could take what I consider waste, dark, evil, disgusting, pain, blah, 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 rolling in the ball and push it away. And there's something that even wants to eat off of that. So there's different entities that were created or created through the mind that need to feed. That need to feed. They need to feed ferociously. So you have to go back into the mythology to understand a little bit about the story of how this came into being. They show you in movies like Jupiter Ascending, Dark City. They even showed in Stargate that Ra was this old vampire, this old entity. They showed in Clash of the Titans 1 and 2 that the gods were dying because the humans weren't praying to them. They showed you in, what's that Showtime movie about the gods? Khadija, what's that TV show on Showtime? What's that TV show on Showtime talking about the gods? What's the name of it? American Gods. Thanks. I showed you in American Gods where they're having this debate, the new gods versus the old gods, and pretty much who gets the humans' attention so they can feed off the human. Right? They tell you all the time what it is you're doing down here. So in the mythology, you have, to make it quick, and you can go on YouTube and find Gnostic mythology. There's this pristine God, the creator of it all, that nigga, and creates these 8 gods under him. Then you also have the 8 God in the Egyptian pantheon. At the very bottom was Sophia, the great mother, who couldn't see or have direct access to that pure energy or that pure light. She has a child without the divine spirit. It becomes this bastard birth. She tried to get rid of it. She threw it in the abyss, and in the abyss, this thing creates this ego and creates this world to serve him as the Lord Almighty. That world he created, of course, was here. And on that world, to worship him, he created a system called nature. The shit y'all trying to be. I'm a natural black man and black woman and all the rest of that crap. Nature is nothing more than a food-eating circle that will never end. It's called the food chain. And it's based upon predator and prey. So it's based upon certain elixirs as the hunter and the predator that come into play. And then certain elixirs that are fear-based that happens to, let's say, the zebra as prey. And that energy is fed upon by this God called Jehovah, Yahweh, this demiurge. Now, in the mythology, he eventually comes into a session with these archons, or these so-called evil angelic forces called archons. And the archons pretty much show him how to turn it up a level. Because in the middle of all of this, the great mother, Sophia, who's created this bastard birth, said, oh shit, this is fucked up. And partitioned that one divine source for his sparks of light, to endow it in one of the animals on the planet to change or to try to fix or balance out the floor. That animal, of course, was man, and those divine sparks was the soul. So that's where you get I'm a jealous God, because the soul is older than the actual God who's supposed to have Lord over you and creator of this matrix. So this Archon is an old race of motherfuckers. And this old race of motherfuckers said, we know how to get this. Since you set this up right, we know how to get this feeding on. We can create through what they do. We know how to work up against the soul. So the soul's idea is to build and transform, ultimately to find out the nature of self, i.e., this is how the soul gets back home. They showed it in the TV show Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Deep Space Nine. There was 4 versions or 5 versions of Star Trek. You want Deep Space Nine when they were at space station, where in the last season, one of the characters finds out who he is and his origin, and they ultimately tell him, we send a piece of us all around the universe and see who comes back. When they come back, we get the information without even leaving. So this divine spark is the same concept. It's this pool of divine original source light. When they say it's a big bang or explosion, that's all around the universe, called souls. And those souls have nothing but the desire to come back home once they get of a certain level of consciousness. And even then, even the most ignorant black man or black woman, they still want to know, but they satisfy themselves with Jesus or maybe Buddha or the Orishas or whatever. But something in them still want to know. There's what's calling them isn't strong enough yet for it to be as conscious as perhaps you, but it's calling them nonetheless. And the archons understand that you'll have that need to do it, and you'll be doing it from pretty much a place of ignorance, and you'll be moving on inspiration, you'll be moving on intuition, as opposed to absolute knowing. And you will know and you will reveal, but you also have the potential, as we did, to forget it all again. And what they're doing is exploiting that ignorance. That ignorance is because the human body was created for nothing more than a feeding tube, a feeding apparatus. So your soul, or that divine spark that is trapped in the body, now creates, but it creates in this prison. So it turns out in many different ways. It turns out as rap music and pyramids and double Dutch and pig Latin and all that other fly shit, but all of that is energy. And while this is happening, archons like vampires can feed off of that. You know what I'm saying? Now you got, so where do white people come in with all of this? White people are a representation of that archon vampiric energy. Now, 1% of white people know who and exactly what the fuck they are, and they know exactly what they're working for. This was revealed when they got the language of the angels, or the Enochian language, the Enochian language. Actually, Enochian, I think it is. But they got this language in the story. One of those guys channeled, John or D or whatever, channeled some entities, and the entities pretty much put them on. And these were the archons talking. They said, you can get as powerful as us once you understand nuclear fusion or whatever it was. Some on that level, you can find that out. And what they were saying was, you are a vampiric physical race, our children pretty much. And you can eventually get to where we are. You can become a cosmic vampire as they are. Now down here on Earth, hey, what's up, sweetie? Hey, what's up? Saying what's up to Grandpa? I don't want these people saying, give me some sugar, mama. Hey, little Boca. She look like she's mad. So they are a vampiric race. Hold on, yeah. Hold on, Naj. Oh, well, what the fuck? Just, yo. Where you going, son? Come here for a second. Come here, Naj. Let me see something. I gotta tell you something. look, let me see what happened. Can I see? Can I just see? Hold on. Before you take it back, I just want to see. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Ladies first. Ladies first. Ladies first. Got them Queen Latifah braids. Why you act like that? All right, so they pretty much told these white folks in that thing that you can be like us. You just got to learn and learn. Pretty much you have to pay your dues down here as junior vampires. Now, like I said, most white people don't know that you kind of need white people who know, let's say 1%, need that other white people to believe in this shit. Because if they truly believe in it as ghouls, then black people tend to believe in it. You know what I'm saying? But so we're not talking that the whole white race is aware and that they're into this sinister plot. What we're talking about, what I'm talking about, is that their nature is what tells you who their fathers are. They have a very vampiric nature. Even the best of what they have to offer is greedy. They want to stay around rap. They want to eat your peach cobbler and your collard greens and ask how the chicken is made, what's in the recipe. Like, it's really, you know what I'm saying? They just want to do anything. They want to stand on the 50-yard line, touch the wind and walk in it without their shoes on. It's like they need to get all they can from you because they're learning at a very elementary level. The ones who came to Earth, they're going to Archon school, pretty much. How to feed, or that's what they do in business. That's what they do, and they murder this environment. They suck off of everything. They eat everything. TJ, remember I gotta finish this tape. They feed off of everything. They eat off of everything. So they're learning at a very age their nature. And here, for the white people on Earth, is where they deal with, or they learn morality and how worthless it is. So you can see they're the most on the planet with they have the least, by their own definition of morality, the least of it. Because that's actually what they're learning how to do, how to feed off of things without having remorse. You get what I'm saying? Now, us the other way, we have cultivated something else, love. So we don't, and we have the tools to create our own energy to feed off of. We don't need to feed off others. I mean, don't mean niggas ain't doing it. But that's the key. White folks are a reflection of Archon energy, and they're trying to graduate down here. And you'll see they want to suck off you. So each time you can't pay your rent, trying to find a job, trying to maintain a job, have another fucking kid, cut off the gas bill, Donald Trump, Obama, all of these things inspire emotion. Therefore, inspire energy that can be fed off of. You're a delicacy. Like I think I was saying in the first one, all of this is energy. And if you remember in third grade, energy does not die. It has to go somewhere once I stop moving my hand. Something wants to eat off of that, but a complex, then something will. But and really, when it eats off of it, it shits it out. So the energy keeps moving, and some eats that shit, and some eats that transformation. It just never ends. There's this one pool, there's this big pool of energy. It's just where you stand on the food chain. And since you down here suffering, paying the rent, going through diabetes, high blood pressure, got to get a haircut, got to sit on the toilet, you're being fed off of something else. Something that's vampiric. That's why you're down here so ignorant. You don't really even know if none of this history actually happened. You could just be caught in a trap somewhere, thinking you going through life, but you're just going through a dream while something has their hooks in your ass eating you. Think of Jupiter rising. They put the motherfuckers to sleep and was feeding off of that elixir. And they said, this shit gives us everlasting life. Think of Dark City. We're trying to figure out the science of the soul, the science of the light. So until we figure it out, we got to eat off of these dudes. These dudes got to show us. So they built a little matrix, and they kept these people couldn't get out of it. They kept trying to get to Shell Beach the same way you're trying to get to heaven. But you don't go nowhere. You know that the Egyptians told you the idea is to die and not come back. Or in other words, die and no longer be a fucking food source for this shit that you're under. But you can only escape through one way, through freeing your mind, through understanding through your mind. They cannot control your mind. It's where they get that saying from, Satan can't or doesn't do anything. He inspires you for certain behavior. They do the same thing. So when you pray, you're actually asking the Archon for help. You're saying, Archon, I know you're feeding off of me, and that's why the rent's due, and this is done, and that's falling apart. I'm about to go to jail. I ain't getting no pussy, all of these things. I know you're feeding off of me, but please, Archon, give me a break. So even when you asking the Mauritius, who Bobby Hemmets told you, I'll tell you straight to your face, are no longer on your side. Their energies are now feeding off of you because your mind allowed yourself to become a meal for them. The deities were all created by us. There's no way it couldn't have been. Like, no one was sitting there and somebody named Oshun came down and said, boom, you niggas was doing nothing. But hi, I'm Oshun, I'm Ogun, and let me give you something to do. And here's my mythology. No, we made that to try to explain our existence. And we're so ignorant of it, we are now serving that, therefore feeding it. And it has a consciousness. It is not sitting in the sky, worrying about if you're good or bad, if you're naughty or nice. Oshun is not pleased with my behavior. That's not what that means. That means because of our consciousness, we created Oshun. So if we say she's there to serve us as a love goddess, then that energy will. But if we say we're there to serve it and hope she doesn't hope we don't make her mad, or she allows us to brush her hair, then we are now feeding that. We are not feeding, and we're not, remember, everything's an energy exchange. So the sacrifice you give, so the idea is you give this to something and they give you something back. Now we're just giving this to something and hoping they're not mad at us, whatever the fuck that means. And that energy will react and we will interpret it that way because that energy is just reacting to what your mind is. So somewhere along the line, through the ego, there was a corrupt thought that created this vampiric race because we are the creator of all things. And they cannot do what we do. They cannot do what we do. So, but they do need what we got. So, as I pointed out, their only way of controlling is by creating scenario. And your reaction to that scenario is totally yours. It's always been yours. That's the key to the shit. You gotta willingly give them the food. So in other words, we say it all the time. If a chicken is running, you catch his ass, the meat is stiff. He's scared. The fear shot through his body right before you kill him. But what if the chicken was not in fear when it gave you its meal? Well, I bet you that meat would be fucking tender. So what they need you is to be willing to give it up. But I think your fear is what they do want. What they don't want is your awareness. I think that spoils the meat because you'll see the more you become aware of what I'm teaching you right now, the more you'll see the humanity has laid off. You're not a good food source anymore. See, Bobby Hemmett was trying to tell you the secrets. I've been trying to tell you the secrets of how not to be a food source. And that is simply by trying to become, if the blanket statement would be less human. How you do it, there's particular ways you have to start divorcing yourself from the emotional traps and reactions that they give you. An obvious trap would be Trayvon Martin and Trump. But another trap would be to give you something that's in your favor. You can see the conscious motherfuckers now, especially in New York, all they do is talk about the white man. They give so much energy to that, and they believe that they're actually destroying his shit. They believe that they digging him out, busting him out. I ain't fuck the white man. But they actually talk about him so much that remember, all he is a symbol for a certain amount of elixirs to boil up, even if it's the Malcolm X or the Tupac elixir in you that boils up. It's a food source. See, because the idea is not to be I hate it or I love it, to be in the middle. Like, people say Panic, he really hates humanity. I don't hate humanity neither. Hate is on the other side of what you're trying to say I'm not. If you're saying Panic doesn't love humanity, I do not love humanity. You know what I'm saying? The entities that are having a human experience, I have compassion and love for them. I have love for their need to escape this motherfucking Holocaust that they're in. But pro-humanity, not at all. Because I understand being pro-humanity puts me in a feeding system. But here's the trick. Being anti-humanity does the same thing. So I'm not necessarily anti-humanity or pro-humanity. I'm trying to do my best to be indifferent to it while I'm having a human experience. So things like Trayvon Martin and Trump are a trap, but cops beating someone's ass is a trap. Niggas being congratulated for shit in America is also a trap. I try to stay as mild as I can, because by staying as mild emotionally, you're staying out of it. You're not stepping on the plate of anything, because something could eat off of you either way. You hate America, something can eat off of you. You love America, something can eat off of you. As long as you have an emotional response to it. So this is why it starts in your chakra system. That's the key. First, let me get this out the way. On November 9th, I will be in Charlotte, North Carolina. Come on through 435 East Trade Street. It's at a Hyatt. So we'll be in the conference room in the Hyatt at 435 East Trade Street, TRADE Street, Charlotte, North Carolina. It's going to be fire. 35 to get in, 35 for the webinar. 35 to get in, 35 for the webinar. Hold on, let me see if I can get Visa's information. I know I can. Just give me a second. Where was she at? Baltimore. All right. So for the webinar, 35, you want to contact Visa, VISEWESI @gmail.com. VISEWESI @gmail.com. She'll hook you up with the webinar or any other questions that you need to get to this location. 435 East Trade Street, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28202. That's going to be on November 9th, Saturday, 2 p.m. I'm going to tear this shit down. We're going to talk about the Day of the Dead, synchronicities and manifestations. The Day of the Dead is going to be fire. I'm a lecture, and Khadijah will open up as well. I'm going to have a flyer soon, so look for the flyer. But November 9th, come to 435 East Trade Street. It's going to be on fire. I'm going to tear it down live like I always do, So you got to be indifferent to a lot of this energy. Khadijah teaches a class strictly on chakras and how to start taking control of your emotions. Your emotional system is a big part of what is trapped down here. Your chakras are nothing but a prison. You are trapped in this rainbow. You're trapped under this rainbow or this light prison or this prism. This prism is nothing more than a prison. And this light is being fed on. Your aura changes. You heard of that with your emotions. All you doing is saying turkey wing, chicken leg, a thigh, pizza. It's all you are, over and over again. And you want to, how can I say, not be that. And that's what the ancients were doing. They were understanding that they were being fed on. They were understanding that they were being fed on. So they knew they had to come, they knew the human body was the apparatus, and y'all was getting caught in the trap. So a lot of souls or light that's down here doesn't even know they were caught in the trap. Don't even know that they were sleeping. They kind of show you in how they went into that casino in the lightning thief, Percy and the lightning thief. They went into that casino and they lost all track of time and reality. They did it a play as a casino because that's what they do in Vegas. You know, they remove all the windows. You don't know if it's day or night, and so on and so forth. You know, that's a science to lose track of reality. But that's what's happening on a bigger picture down here. You told time is based upon the sun coming up and coming down. You know time is illusion. You know, you're getting some pussy, time is not long enough. You're sitting there, somebody asks you to hold your breath for a minute, time lasts forever. So it's time, if time can be felt differently based upon your perspective, then that means it's not real. That means it goes into the realm of perspective, which is the realm of illusion, the realm of your own mind. You understand what I'm saying? Because in fact, that's what magic is, all about creating your own master perspective and being able to synchronize it with reality. You understand? So the perspective that's happening now is actually what's created for you. And white people, though they are acting it out, they're acting it out as a ghoul, but they are a tool for archon energy, which is your real enemy, which is your real master that's really controlling you. So you choose not to be controlled. They cannot do nothing to you when your mind is right. They can only manipulate you with human shit. So you'll notice most people, when they first started doing any of this type of work, no matter what level they on, they get a lot of resistance. Then eventually that resistance dries up. When I first started, it seemed like all the shit was happening and distracting, and Jaws was in jeopardy and all this shit. And eventually it just went away, because it has to go away, because all it's really being put out there is for me to react to. When I became wise enough in my understanding not to react and act all insane in my heart about it, the more it was like it went away. It's like, see, because no one is looking at me in particular saying, we need to get him under control. So there's no demiurge looking down saying, what that motherfucker say? Oh shit. No more than you look at every cow and go, what? That cow? You know, if it ain't that cow, it's the next cow. If it ain't that steak, it's the next steak. It's not like this particular steak I can't do. So there's nothing pursuing me or trying to stop me. It's only me that can stop me, because all it does is offer what this world was designed to do: constantly create a conflict. We know that happens anyway. So that's why magic is to teach you to master these conflicts, because these conflicts are pretty much on automatic pilot, because conflict, food, conflict, emotion, food. If that's on automatic pilot. The same way they create barns to cattle these motherfuckers, and they create pathways so the cattle just go automatically. And ring a bell, they run and they go where they're supposed to go, because you're hurting them. You're herded based upon your thoughts. Niggas are herded. Hindus are herded. Whites are herded. Poor whites are herded. You know what I'm saying? Rich niggas are herded. They're categorized and put into races. You understand what I'm saying? And then you fight and work against each other, but your automatic pilot is different competing cows. for different things, always in search of something better, or trying to end something that you determined or was determined for you that is bad. All of this is the system in which something sits back and feeds. So the ancient man knew no more food source. The conscious man is supposed to say that. You know what I'm saying? You know, who wants a vampire sucking off of you? It's kind of like the concept of the psychic vampire. You need to understand what that is. That's a very prevalent thing, and it's happening more than you know. Someone's always sucking up your energy. You know what I'm saying? You'll feel drained around, like stomach aches around certain motherfuckers. Their energy is so fucking greedy. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, I love warm cookies, and just always got their mouth around something. The best vampires eat like fucking savages, but they don't become fat. So, this is what you'll hear them say. Not all of them, but this is a thing to look for. Oh, we just have high metabolism. Nah, motherfucker, you have made in your mind to hide how greedy you are. So your body won't even get fat. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not trying to show, you're trying to show something, you know what I'm saying? Or hide something, or whatever psychological thing you could say. But you see motherfuckers who eat and stay skinny, motherfuckers is natural vampires. Not all of them, but that's a sign, let's just say, because they know they would be revealed if you seen greed on them. So they actually can psychologically make themselves not show greed. They can look like they blend in, but some greedy motherfuckers. White people are excellent at it. You know what I'm saying? There's some fat white people, no doubt. But you'll see a lot of motherfuckers can eat. They want to eat what every nigga eats and all of that shit. And they skinny or healthy as fuck. Because they know how to consume with greed. That's their nature, and they're living out their nature. And what they're learning, especially the ones down here, they're learning how to become what this archon energy is. Straight vampires. All of these half stories about Anunnaki and all the rest of that, those are half stories. The real shit is that archon shit. A great revealing happened. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nigga energies that seek to free you from the dinner table as well. And in 1945, this kid playing in the cave found these Dead Sea Scrolls in Nag Hammadi, Egypt, or the Nag Hammadi Library, which became the later day Gnostic text, which explained or brought back a lot of ancient information. It's actually where they got the Gospels from. But more so, it gave out detailed information of how this matrix was built and the evil nature of this matrix, which you don't really see in plain writing in the ancient text. If you study the ancient text, you'll see that they're saying it. If you study even these movies, you'll see that they're saying it. You know what I'm saying? They said in Clash of the Titans, the gods, we're dying. Why? Because the humans are not praying to us, giving us energy. They said that shit to you. Straight up, we have no power. In American Gods, especially the first season, that it came to a head where what turned out to be Odin, the All-Father, goes to Esther. And Esther's having a celebration on Easter. But there's a lot of Jesuses around. And he's making the beef. This used to be your day alone. Now you got to share it with this old motherfucker. She's like, look, as long as motherfuckers are still painting eggs and saying my name, I'm willing to share with him. And of course, he turns her. But they're talking about these gods and feeding, that there's a feeding system going on. They feed off of humanity in your human plight. You get what I'm saying? So that's why you heard Bobby and myself say, let that human shit go. Don't get involved. Try to, at every turn, every course, divorce yourself from that shit. You know what I'm saying? My son just had a daughter put me and Khadijah back the fucking the Matrix. You know how that goes. And of course, we're going to take care of her, but we have to, that's where we tread lightly, because a baby is probably the greatest demiurge trick in the book, the greatest archon trick in the book. You'll just look at that motherfucker, you're melting. And that's how you know you're making progress. In fact, that's how they do it. When you was a baby, everyone pawned over you, and they had all of this hope. Oh my goodness. You know, when Billy grows up, Billy's gonna be this, he's gonna go to the best schools, and Billy's gonna be #1 in his class. I'm gonna get him all the books, and he's gonna eat all the best meals. Me and his dad just love him. So now when Billy grows up and he's not shit, you know what I mean? You lose all, and he loses all his hope. I was gonna be a vet, I was gonna be an astronaut, I was gonna be the president, I was gonna be this. I'm Billy, bitch. And then none of this shit happens. As he's fucking standing there saying, would you like to supersize that, ma'am? He's sitting there going, hope is gone. Then Billy finds another bitch that's on fries, and they make a baby. Then hope comes back. Oh man, Obama, he's the president. We all on TV. Rap music is making us so spectacular. Hope. My son is going to be special. Billy Jr. is going to be the shit. And then Billy Jr. grows up and he's beating bitches up on Love and Hip Hop. And you're like, that hope is gone. So Billy #1 couldn't find it in Billy #2. And he's just as depressed as Billy #2 is now hired by him at the McDonald's. He is now crew chief at. And then Billy #2 has a baby. And Billy #1 is a grandfather. Oh, this is a different world we in today. Oh, for black people, I remember in my day, you couldn't do this or you couldn't do that, but not my little grandbaby. No. Billy #3, it's a different world of hope. So those babies, then of course you die, and then all you did was had hope, transferred hope, and then retransferred hope again. And there's this whole system of hope, which is probably one of the most that's probably like steak to the archons, because hope is what runs this entire matrix. Your idea of what you think a better tomorrow will be. Once we get Trump out of there, once we get Obama in there at one point, once we get Trump out of there, once the Democrats go, once the Republicans go, once we stop this Democrat-Republican shit, we'll be better for it. Better people. We're going someplace, y'all. iPhone 11 out next month. All of this is something invisible that you actually invest in. See, consciousness gets you out of the hope system, and you invest in yourself in the now, in the actual moment. The hope system never happens as we've learned it today. You understand? You're a baby. One day, I hope you'll go to college. I hope he does that. I hope he does that. He doesn't do it. Then my son, is a better day. I know where I fucked up. So I hope he does better than me. I hope to make a better life than I did for myself. I hope he doesn't smoke drugs. I hope he finds the right woman, because I never did. I hope. And when that doesn't happen, it's a new world. It's an Obama world. It's an Obama world, and black people are Def Comedy Jam niggas. Hope. So that hope is how you get fed on. You gotta change that hope and internalize, because you say, well, panic now, because that gets hard. Without hope and without, what can we do? I don't have hope. I have a knowing, and a way to make manifest now. Not maybe I'll get there one day. And then if I can't get there, maybe my son will get there based upon the mistakes I made. And now that I know better, because all the shit I went through as a stupid motherfucker in the 80s and 90s, I told and told and told and told my son over and over and over again. But it's clear that means absolutely fucking nothing. He's got to find out his way. And not because I say so, because he's showing me that's the case. Because many times I can tell, I'll give you a shortcut. Don't do that, nigga. I'll give you an even quicker shortcut. Nigga, do that. Because when I did that, that's that, blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking I'm giving them obvious wisdom. I just went through the shit. I just failed at it or succeeded at it. I said, nigga, you love these turkey burgers you eat every day. That comes from a science. Let me show you how to make your own turkey burgers in abundance. And but that's not what they want. That's not ever going to happen. That's not the nature of it. But it is the nature of hope. And that's the matrix. That's, or at least a part of the matrix. If you can give that up, you trade it in for knowing. You trade it in for knowing. You understand what I'm saying? And you need to understand that your son, my son, is his own entity. No, if you just look, all you guys are conscious. If your mom's asked you to do something 9 times out of 10, as much as you may love her, you're gonna say, nah, I ain't doing that dumb shit. Because you know it's still dumb shit. No matter her intentions may be good or whatever, but you know it's dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? She's under mind control, your dear old mom. And so, as you know, you wouldn't listen to what she had to say. Why does my son should automatically listen to me? Because I could say no tap? No, he's his own entity. He came here to do what he came to do, whether I understand it or not. So I have to release the hope, the ego. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you got to look for every place to divorce yourself from the emotional traps that become a meal. You get emotionally trapped just like a rabbit gets trapped to get fed on. So whatever you into, that's a feeding. Whatever category. You like dub music? Nigga, that's a feeding. Dancing is a feeding. We knew that. That's why we would dance to certain energies. This is the Oshun dance. What we were doing was giving up energy to that configuration. And once we gave it by doing the dance correctly, it can give back. It was an exchange based upon a deity or an entity or an energy that we created, named, gave it a story to control it, not to be controlled by it. So because of what you call thought forms, you have now in existence what we call archons. Oh, they are eating off your ass ferociously, niggas. Ferociously, niggas. So, let me see if there's any. I don't think there's too much more I'm going to talk about besides you getting eaten. I think I'm going to see how it came out, the lecture where I went through this for hours. I'm going to put it up as well. But there are things, like I said, it takes a while. One of the first things you need to do is really get to understand your chakras and your chakra system. Like I said, I don't have the time, I don't have the time to do a whole class just on that. The good news is Khadijah did. And people who have taken that class or have gotten a reading from her, this motherfucking shit is fire and it's thorough. Real thorough. It really complements my class. It really does. And she'll start to show you and get you to understand where the emotions lie in you. All your emotions are connected to a chakra. All your chakras are lights. All lights are energy. It's a food source. So when you're angsty, anxious, happy, sad, glad, all of these things emanate in your aura, and something eats. If you say I'm depressed, that's a energy configuration. That's a recipe. Ooh, nigga, recipe. So all your emotions are nothing more than recipes. Your combined emotions is nothing more but intricate recipes. Yeah, nigga, you are on the menu. You know what I'm saying? So your first, because, okay, let's say you say this. Oh man, I think I'm depressed. I'm depressed. Why did you do that? Because I'm depressed. Hey Billy, why are you always sad? Because I'm depressed. So what you're really doing is magnetizing an energy called depressed. And if there wasn't such a thing as depressed, you can create an energy that you call depressed. So we co-sign in our consciousness that this is what it means to be depressed. That's what human beings said. So which means some archon is saying that's a recipe. That's a delicacy. Depressed person. I like that food. So what I need to do is try to get my food stock up by creating scenarios that will either keep a person who's already claimed that they're depressed, who already fell and got stuck in that trap, how to keep them depressed or help to reel someone in. So when they're feeling something else, oh, I just never have enough of these white things, you'll hear, maybe you're depressed. That's archons. They stand all around you. You know, some people say, I see the spirit is right near the side and I see something at the side. Those are archons too. I know you niggas are so egotistical and think it's your ancestors who give so much a fuck about you. Because energy can only communicate with a frequency. And y'all niggas is too stupid to even talk to relatives, fucking our ancestors. Y'all got more work to do. And that's what I've been trying to tell y'all from the jump street. I'm not trying to doubt that y'all can do it. I'm telling you, you're not doing it. You're not doing it by all the other shit you're concerned about. I see the stupidity of the chat room. Like in the chat room earlier, I mentioned peach cobbler. And somebody, who takes the time to write, I like peach cobbler. The fuck are you doing? What the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, that says a lot. It says a lot because I'm just thinking of me doing that. If I'm in the chat room for whatever, unless I'm in a peach cobbler chat room, and even if I'm in a peach cobbler chat room, that's too dumb to write. Because you gotta assume I like it if I'm there. So I need to know how to make a better peach cobbler. Tell me something else. So I mentioned peach cobbler and that's what you choose to write. Don't waste the fucking space. You're a fucking church member. You are. If you don't like it, I don't give a fuck. You gotta wake up out of this shit. It's too small to have to address something where you don't even know how to start. You don't even know what the fuck you hear, what you're doing. This is a revelation to you. You couldn't decode this shit in the next couple of lifetimes, and you're being told this now. I mean, you're also showing you, they show you this in movies. And if I really went hard, this is movies off the top of the head where they show you that you're a food source all the time. Your light is what's being eaten off, and you have the most pristine light. You were caught down here. You're in a trap. Or like I said, you could also look at it from the Gnostic thing that we were sent down here to do the work. It's clear though, either way of how you look at a trap or sent down to do the work, either way, we are definitely ignorant to what the mission is. So sent down here, we're ignorant of the mission. Trapped down here, you're definitely living that life out, that trap life. So everything is to inspire you. Like you'll see, what's that bitch Mona, whatever her name is, that created Love and Hip Hop. Bitches like Wendy Williams. You good? What's that? Oh, there's no batteries in there? What's that? What kind of batteries in these? Oh, I may have some upstairs. It's either C or D. It should say it on there. What does it say on the damn thing? Yeah, it looks like C's. I may have C's upstairs. Give me a second. You about to give a bath now?
No, not right now.
I may have some C's upstairs. I think I may have D's upstairs. If not, we have to just go to run the Publix or something. Or wherever. All right, so what the fuck was I saying? Anyway, what's clear is you forgot the mission if you were sent down here, and what's clear is we're more living the life that we are trapped down here. And it must have some truth to it, because why would the Egyptians say people are being recycled? Because think about it. If you live a whole life and you're fed off of all these emotions, you become an old stressed man and then you die. Your soul is just as new as a newborn baby. It can get a new body. See, the body has worn out. The delivery system has failed you. You see that a little extra? It has failed you. But the soul is untouched. It can keep producing. So they'll tell you when you die, when your energy is leaving, the archons are all over that shit. Where they show you pictures of your relatives saying, come this way, come this way. They're bringing you back in the trap to walk to the light. Come to the light. Come to the light. Do not walk towards the light. The light is the trap. That's how you walk back into a new body. All right? That's how you walk back into a new body and become a whole feeding system, a lifetime of stress, grief, ass whippings, disappointments, to start making a food source, start making delicacies, to start configuring a menu. So you have a depressive disposition or a happy disposition or a negative disposition. The cup is half empty or half full, whatever that type of nigga you turn out to be, you become that type of food source. And upon that disposition, you could pile a bunch of bullshit. So a nigga with a negative disposition, how do we get him to be happy? We give him a little pussy, a little good pussy. How do we get a nigga with a happy disposition to cry or be negative or to have an outburst, stab a motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? Imagine just making motherfuckers that are murderers, or setting the groundwork to inspire motherfuckers to where they become murderers and they all say, I was in the heat of the moment. That's feeding. That's feeding. That's feeding off of not just who you murdered, all the family members that suffer each time this now symbol, the murdered person, comes to mind. The mother is always the daughter. I never knew who my daddy was. I was only 3 and I was in the passenger seat when all of this happened. All of those things. So a kid who lives an entire life, who heard that a father was shot, grew up without a father, or a father walked out on him or whatever, they have an energy in them. Someone who was raped has an energy in them that something can feed off from, because everything that happens to them in life is seen through those glasses. Seen through the glasses of my mama died when I was little. My father died when I was little. That happened to me when I was little. So everything that happens is through that. Me and my sister were severely traumatized as kids. And even to this day, we still have conversations about shit that happened when we was 8 and 9 years old. It set up the whole momentum of our lives. And if I was just a regular human dude, I'd be on all sorts of pills and all sorts of this and that, trying to cope with this shit. And in that trying to cope, trying to find what? Hope. Trying to cope. Hope. Trying to cope is ultimately how, because while you're bouncing between these two places trying to cope, using hope, and using hope to try to cope. When you're going back and forth between these two, you never get into the moment. You're trying to cope with the past and deal with hope for the future. But what's happening now is you're probably destroying everything around you. And while you do that, in the now moments is where the meal happens. So, like I said, you want to start working on your chakras to start understanding and evaluating your emotions. What do you feel is out of control? What do you feel is an emotion that constantly nags you, antagonizes to the point where you may feel you can't control it? You know what I'm saying? It's perfect if you got a significant other, because they will be happy to tell you about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're intelligent. Always have an intelligent significant other. Someone that makes you think. If you have just a dumb hoe, you know what I'm saying, you're going to get a dumb hoe reality. You know what I'm saying? Make sure the woman you have got sense. You know what I'm saying? If she sit around and watch Love and Hip Hop all day, you know, then that should be an indication to your ass. Make sure that as soon as you meet her, see what books that hoe read. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to take her seriously. See the book and if she wasn't privy to it, see what book she's willing to read. You know what I'm saying? Most women are geniuses if they're treated as such. And it's in your best interest, fellas, to have a genius woman. You know what I'm saying? Because that genius woman, if she's truly in love and she's smart, she'll be able to evaluate you and become a very, very valuable tool into revealing in a mirror image of that which you can't see in yourself. Because if you were programmed in such a way, you wouldn't be able to see it in yourself. It would be what you call normal behavior. So I can use Khadijah to say, yeah, I know that shit is normal to you, nigga, but that shit is quite odd. And then with your consciousness, you can evaluate, you know, something, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting emotional, I'm getting a certain kind of way, and I'm feeding something. I'm admitting energies off based upon frustration and I don't want to talk right now. Whatever niggas do. And that's how you're got. That's how something's getting you. So each time you can say, yeah, this is what usually triggers me, but I refuse to get triggered. That's winning. That's actually, because people always ask the question, well, how do you go and never come back? Well, that's the idea that the Egyptians were trying to portray, meaning your heart is light as a feather, meaning that there's no physical weighing of the heart in the feather, of course. It is symbolic of saying that which weighs emotionally on your heart does not exist. Not because it doesn't exist, period. Because if you buy into it, then it's real to you, and therefore you're acting and reacting as such. What it's trying to say is you are no longer invested emotionally in this matrix. So panic I have not stolen, I have not robbed the goats, I have not coveted thy neighbor's goods or his wife. Panic has done all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Starting at age 2, stealing cookies. So panic has stolen and panic has lied. But my soul, which is pristine and unscaven in terms of good and evil, is innocent of all these things. Therefore, my heart is light as a feather when I realize who and what I truly am. If I think I am this human being, then I'm going on a return trip, because humanity belongs here. Humanity is here. Humanity is a product of here. You don't go and be a better, more pristine human somewhere else. You shed yourself of this feeding tool that you were caught in. that you were trapped in, or that you were placed in. Either way, you shed yourself of it, and you shed yourself of the idea. And this, your heart being light as a feather, is actually a level of consciousness. It's not a level of, I'm a nice guy, which you want to believe, because that's what you were trained to believe in church, that my heart is light as a feather because I eat all my vegetables and I call black women queen. That's not how it goes. It's about your consciousness. It's about what I'm telling you now that makes my heart light as a feather. It's why I move on. It's why I pass. Because what I'm telling you now makes your heart light as a feather. Your heart is heavy based upon the hope that you never live up to. It's the Obama that just pulled the tip of your dick out and just lit all on the front of it and then just walked away. And you standing there with a licked tip and nothing to show for it, but a bunch of hope that you thought you would bust a nut and you didn't. And then Trump came and gave you a reach around, put his finger in your butt. And you're like, whoa, I don't get down like that. But he just said, well, 4 years, you're about to. So now you're getting your ass manipulated by Trump, hoping that he stops. It's a hope game you're in. And that game is the game. And when you start to shred yourself of that, your heart becomes light as a feather. That's what they're talking about. And it's a level in your consciousness. And why they include the heart, because for your heart to be light as a feather, in terms of you getting in your consciousness, it's your emotions through the chakra system that you have to address, because you're manipulated by your emotions. You think that's white people who's smart enough to show you in such a systematic way cops beating niggas? Oh, it's them acting it out. It's them plugging this into that. But that's a divine inspired thing to create a fear. To create a fear. To create a food menu item. So it's on you to free yourself. No one can save you. Motherfucking lecturers can't save you. Debaters can't save you. Some nigga going live with dreads can't save you. I can't save you. You have to save yourself based upon the information that you're getting. I came to dispense information, how to free you goddamn chicken dinners from this goddamn eating you're doing. You ever have this, like, before I was even conscious, I got arrested. I was about 16, 17. Never prayed before, but you get in jail praying. If you get me out of this one, boy, oh boy, I'm sure going to be good. I'm going to start talking to you more. Shit like that. Because that actually is asking the demiurge to go easy on you. They listen. They can hear that. They communicate through energy. Your words are energy, and you're directing it towards them. Oh, you thing, me, help. I'll be better. And it's pretty much saying, whatever demiurge thing help me, which is your version of the Lord. I'm trying to put my allegiance to you. Church is nothing more than a divine feeding. All them niggas going up there jumping up and down in the name of nothing. Or it's actually in the name of something, but nothing that they know. And white people down here said, okay, we're going to feed our masters. So they put steeples on top of the churches. They put organs in the churches to manipulate your organs, because your organs are what creates the goddamn elixirs. Your organs are what creates the chemicals in your body. Pancreas and spleen and all the rest of that shit. Liver for bile. Oh, right. It's a food source. Sperm. Solar phallic acid. What's the name? Pussy juice. Ovary. Periods. All of that is a feeding. All of that's a feeding. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, y'all ain't ready. Y'all still thinking the fucking Egyptian on the Nibiru's coming back to save you. Hello, Nibiru. Glad you're back. It's only you who can save yourself with your consciousness. It's only you who can save yourself with your consciousness. Hope a dope, nigga. Hope a dope. You know what I'm saying? Niggas like Jesse Jackson and them niggas, Boule niggas. See, most people think Boule is just about homos. No. Boule is pretty much a niggas fraternity who pretty much said, look, we can't burn them down. We can't stop them. Let's just be their friends. The personification, and he was Boule, it's not just a parallel, was Bill Cosby. Boule started in Philadelphia. Bill Cosby is a Philadelphia college Boule nigga. He personified the idea of the Boule in the Cosby Show. So pretty much non-threatening niggas, no niggas named Raheem, or Shaheem, or Tahir, Theo, Dadmus, and you know the rest of them got their Theodore Aloysius Huxtable, man. Fucking nigga name is that, Aloysius Huxtable. Fuck the Huxtables. Like, that name is just fucking, you know what I'm saying? Theodore Aloysius Huxtable. Bullshit, non-threatening. You know, the story has already been told after he did A Different World. You know what I'm saying? I give props to Lisa Bonet. That bitch fucked up everything for him. That nigga image he was trying to create of pristine Brady Bunch stature, that bitch did a movie. It shows her titties, Angel Heart, for those who don't know. And she did it in the time where the Cosby Show was at its height, and she was a Cosby kid. He told her not to do it, and she showed them titties. She got kicked off the show. But people wouldn't stand for it, so he eventually developed a show called A Different World. Showed her in college, so it was a way to get her the fuck off the show without making her invisible. Because those who remember, she was the big idea of the show, believe it or not. This is a time where very few black people were on TV, very few black families, if any, I can think of besides Good Times era, were on TV. So to see such a pretty girl of teenage age, the same age as me at the time, to see such a pretty girl like that on TV was incredible. It was unheard of. So that's all we talked about the next day. Lisa Bonet. We need to understand that. And she wasn't having none of that bullshit. She made it very hard for that show to pull off the mind control that it was trying to do. So she put them on the show, but in the end, more black people signed up for college because of that show, A Different World, than in history at that time. And each time I bring it up, there's always some niggas say, yeah, I signed up because of it, when I'm in the audience doing it. And they eventually brought her back to the show with her husband and the daughter and all the rest of that. But she gave them hell all the way to the end. So much so, when you watch the first season, they have a reunion special on the end of the DVD. She's not in it. That's impossible. Even in the worst case scenario, you gotta mention that bitch was there. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even say her name. She didn't exist. And which means they did talk to Olivia, but they couldn't talk to the guy who played her husband, Martin, who was Olivia's father, who had a significant role on the show too. But since he was Lisa Bonet's husband, they chose to make her invisible, which alone was just petty. Even the mother, they may have addressed her once. Keep sending me these fucking images. They may have addressed her once. The mother said, well, what do you think Denise, or whatever her character name, what do you think Denise is right now? And she said, I don't know, probably on the side of the highway, whatever it was some old shit, pretty much shit on her. So I'm like, wow, that was just a little bit petty, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That was a little bit petty, you know what I'm saying? 1 second. Ooh. All right, where we at? Whatever. There we go. So, what was we at? Boule, Louis Monet. So they're pretty much, this Boule primarily is to say, niggas act right. Bill Cosby show was saying, nigga, I'm gonna show you how to act. That's all he did. All he did was say, I want to show you or give you a mirror about a black family that's non-threatening. So when white people see it and go, hey, you know, they are just like us. Wow, they talk and they want things like us. And they have something to contribute. Look at all this jazz and Dizzy Gillespie shit they can do. I guess they should be a part of it. And then for black people, they were supposed to say, now I see how I can participate. You gotta remember, this is in the 80s now. So we're coming out of the 60s, just 20 years out the 60s. I'm saying 20 years in the 80s is still fucking just the beginning of the 2000s, and 20 years in the 2000s. So they was just hitting niggas over the head in 1969, 1968. They shot Martin Luther King, them niggas. They was still doing it in 68. So you got 10 years later, 78, disco, and then you got about 83 or 84. You're not even pretty much 20 years deep yet. And then you have this Cosby show trying to address some shit. You know what I'm saying? 74, 10 years before that was Good Times. That's a fucking Holocaust in 7 seasons. So it's a short time after, they still was addressing shit. And that's what this show was trying to do. Show black people how to participate. Jefferson's was an extreme of, niggas ain't gonna be rich. And Good Times was, niggas ain't that poor. You know what I'm saying? Where was the in-between? Even though they didn't dub the Cosby Show in between, because nobody believed that's another thing. No one believed that adopting a lawyer for a nigga could be in the same house. You only got one. So niggas dubbed his show unbelievable just off the strength of that. But then he did his cooning, and people started to pick up on his sweaters and his cooning. And then people just said, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing else on TV. White people told you it's the greatest show ever. He's the #1 dad. It's #1 in the ratings. Then you said, I guess I believe in it too. And ultimately his message, once you wipe it all away, is, hi, white people, look at us, we're normal. And then you can even say, hi, niggas, this is how you're supposed to act. And sure enough, niggas ate that up, because after he did the one about school, that's all niggas, because that's all he talked about. He was a Hillman man. His wife is a Hillman man. And they're doing everything to get them funky ass kids to college. While white racists didn't change, the Cosby jokes were flooding. Niggas used to say, white people used to say when they going to take a shit, that they going to drop some Cosby kids off at the pool. That's fucked up, son. So yeah, I'm about to go drop some Cosby kids off at the pool. I'm like, oh, that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? This is just a mind control program. You know what I'm saying? But demiurge or archons feed off of that. White people just orchestrate the system down here. It just works towards white supremacy. And we have an argument with white supremacy all day. But there's a bigger thing at play. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That bigger thing is what we're dealing with here now. Forget white people. They mean nothing. They're just psychic vampires. And the ones who know are just setting up systems for you to buy into. You know what I'm saying? So you have to get out of that. Ironically, we have to stop fucking worrying about them and start worrying and not deal with hope, start dealing with invocation, start dealing with self-realization, start dealing with ways to find in your own aha moments. See, this has also been given to us, that we must move as a unit. Well, what is moving as a unit? I thought cows did that. I thought sheep did that, moved as a herd. So when Black people start saying, we must do this, we have to do that, we need to do that, what you're really saying is we need to move as a herd. What they don't want you is to move as an individual, because then when you synchronize your thoughts and synchronize the frequency, you'll think as one unit. And that's what they don't want, not herd movement. We shall not be moved. That's what they want. They want you to have that. You know what I'm saying? Because once you get that, then they can control you through group management. You know what I'm saying? If we could say the Blacks are this, see, they can't say that. I used to do that. The Blacks want this, the blacks. He's a Black. The Black wants that. So now there's so many complex attitudes towards it. You don't really hear that as much. You know what I'm saying? You'll hear minorities. The minorities this and the minorities that, which is not a true minority. That's really just code word for the motherfuckers we trying to control. So like I said, all y'all just keep coming back and forth, just to get a new feeding apparatus. Sad, nigga. Sad. You know, you kind of want to get up out of it. You know what I'm saying? You also want to bring your ass to this lecture on November 9th. Let me get you the information, niggas. We shall not be moved. So I'm gonna be at 435 East Trade Street, Trade. That's in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'll be there soon at the Hyatt Hotel, son. Synchronicities and manifestations. You heard me? Synchronicities and manifestations, the Day of the Dead. November 9th, 35 to get in, 35 for the webinar. For webinar information, email Visa, VISEWESI @gmail.com. VISEWESI@gmail.com. 35 for the webinar, 2 p.m. to 9, November 9th, Saturday. You know what I'm saying? North Carolina, Charlotte, 435 East Trade Street. Come on down, niggas. Remember, go to my website, occultlectures.com. Sign up for classes, products. Sign up, investigate Khadijah's class. You can get her website through my site, occultlectures.com, or you can go to her website, SAMEDIreadings.com, SAMEDIREADINGS.com. You can sign up for her classes or get her chakra tonic, chakra baths. But my suggestion is her class. You want to do that because that'll probably be your first step at starting to understand your emotions and starting to reel them back in. You know what I'm saying? What I teach is how to deal with the mind. You know what I'm saying? So it's a joint effort ultimately, but your mind, if your emotional system is out of control, your mind ain't gonna do shit for you. Everybody in jail can explain to you with their mind why they shouldn't be there. And then they all start out, I let my emotions get the best of me. So your emotions get the best of you, that's dinner. That's dinner for something. So it's very important for you to do that and to keep your mind on point to push forward.
About that, son.
Your mind actually will push you forward. You understand, in terms of the consciousness. But if your emotions aren't under control, they'll become anchors. So you don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, Khadijah dedicated herself to creating a curriculum that's on fire. You need to deal with that class. You really do. That will change your game. Look at her testimonials, I'd say, so you can see other people who's taken the class or done her readings to see she's actually the real deal. You know what I'm saying? She's done, she's led, she's going to do it on November 9th through meditations, advanced chakra meditations that work. And that's the key. You want this shit to work. You want to, and if you could know and come to feel what I'm feeling, what I know Bobby Hemmett was feeling, you'll start to feel a certain freedom, a certain power that comes on when nothing's eating off of you, when you're not emotionally led around by your fucking nose. It's a different animal. That God shit that you're talking about, you start to feel it come online for real. And it doesn't just, come in the ego. You know what I'm saying? You think it's an ego thing, but I promise you, I can talk a bunch of shit, but that's for lectures. My ego is not broadened based upon this knowledge. My ego is more broadened about, I guess, how Khadijah likes me. But this knowledge is, you remain humble to it if it's truly transforming you, because there's nothing to be excited about ego-wise. There's nothing to be bigger or badder. The only thing, the difference between me and you is I chose to study it, and most people haven't gone hard on that level. But there's nothing I can't figure out. There's nothing that I figured out that you cannot. So and my ego is not big off of this. You know what I'm saying? But my knowing is 100%. What I'm telling you is what I know. I'm not telling you what I think or how I feel. I'm telling you what I know. And if you do and understand some of the things I'm teaching you and trying to relay to you, it will take you a very long way in a mentality that people just can't seem to figure out. They figure out all the words to say, but ain't nothing really happening. And I can see through that bullshit. You can act like you're impressing me, but I see through your old peach cobbler. I like peach cobbler asses easy. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't like it, then don't come around. If you don't like my commentary on it, then don't come around. Find someone else ass to kiss, because I don't need my ass kissed. Like I said, my ego does not run that way. You know what I'm saying? None of y'all should want that. None of y'all should want that for me. None of y'all should even indulge in that bullshit for me. I don't need you to say anything, but I get it now. And I need you to get it because you are doing the work. So what I really need you to do is the work for self-realization. Let the hope go. Let the black people and we shall overcome go. Let we as a people need to do this shit go. Let that I'm here to help my people shit go. Help your fucking self. Help yourself understand exactly what the fuck happened to you. You know what I'm saying? She pull her pants down. I'm not asking the next man to get the pussy. You got to do what you need to do. What you need to do is understand who and what the fuck your situation is. You have just been told what your fucking situation is, at least in this context. So nigga, stop becoming a fucking bowl of fucking grits and get to work. Peace.